With me on the phone is Michael Tait of the Newsboys. How are you doing, sir?
Doing very well, my friend. I'm in snowy Colorado Springs, Colorado today.
Well, it could probably be beautiful with the snow then.
It's beautiful, but it's cold.
I bet it is. I bet it is. Well, it's great for you to fit us into your busy schedule. Let's jump right to Winter Jam. It's got to be an amazing experience, these different shows and arenas and that thing. Tell us what it's been like.
Well, I've done it now for 4 or 5 times with the Newsboys, even my solo band years ago. I like it because it's a great chance to get about, I guess, 9 or 10 bands a night on stage, a lot who become my friends, and we do shows and in arenas all across America. The families show up all excited to see the bands play, their favorite band. If you don't like a band, wait 10 minutes and the band will change. So it's just a great time, a grand old time. The Newsboys get to headline, so I have no complaints about that, Brandon.
It sounds like a really a cool chance. I haven't actually had a chance to see you live, and actually just by talking with you now, I think I've moved up to one of the cooler adults in my church, passing the youth minister and stuff. So I'm looking for one of them to try to sneak backstage when you're here in Tampa to try to get you to one-up me here. But it's a very exciting show. We've enjoyed Winter Jam every year. We've taken the kids from our church, and it's an amazing experience. So behind the scenes, there's a really cool thing that I wanted to get your take on as well, called, nicknamed the Jam Church. You guys have to have some praise and worship time on Sundays too. So tell us a little bit about that and what your experience has been from that.
That's really weird you asked that question, because that might be one of my top, if not my top favorite part about Winter Jam, is Jam Church. Because as artists, a lot of times we don't get to go home for our church services on Sundays because we're on the road. Newsboys do about 180 shows a year, sometimes more, sometimes less, but we're always on weekends. We do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, come on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, back out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Jam Church is just fantastic, Brandon. But the pastor from our crew, Pastor Bobby Joyner, usually leads it, or Nick Hall, the speaker for Winter Jam, who's the at Winter Jam. They trade off every other Sunday, and we'll have worship led by Newsboys or one of the bands. Any one of the 10 bands, we all trade out leading worship. So, all that said, we find a room in the arena, and we set up a little sign saying, "This way to Jam Church, this way to Jam Church." We get there, and all the bands are there with sleepy eyes but happy hearts, ready to worship, man. It's a great time. You can't beat it with a stick.
When you get
and the Lord shows up every time.
Absolutely, he's there waiting for you.
That's right. Right.
The worship is now in your hands. What's the one song you cannot wait to play and just share with people, and this is the one?
Well, so many of them. It's a tough question, Brian. I'd say probably, I like Nothing But the Blood.
Yeah.
What can wash away my sins? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes you white as snow. Love it, man.
Yeah, amen. Good stuff. Let me jump to the new album. Fantastic. Beginning for Restart, or jumped right to the top of the Christian chart, 38 on the Billboard, and it's got some legs here. It's a great. I tell you what, the video for Restart just had me hooked. That was some old school Atari graphics and stuff mixed in with the new music. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
The record is one of my favorite records, period, man. I mean, since Jesus Freak, I can honestly say it's my favorite record because it was so. I guess how to say it was so releasing for me to be able to go back to the pop style of which I grew up with DC Talk, talking about social issues and spiritual issues and family issues and life issues, done in a pop format, very fresh, very today, Brandon. So putting Restart out the songs were coming together. I was just elated and over the top excited about it. And it's important to when I put out the pen to paper or co-write or have to write songs for us to make sure we are a full package. I want to be available to the youth, obviously the pediatrics as well as geriatrics. I want to let everybody enjoy the record and to have music that can get into their spiritual lives, their walk, and ignite their spirit, the God spirit inside of them.
I tell you, it's interesting you bring some of that up too, because I wanted to ask you about the writers and the development and creation of the album. Give people a little bit of a sneak peek on kind of how you pull things together and get everybody's input together and put something like this together.
Yeah, you start writing songs. I mean, a record starts really when the Every record starts from when the new record comes out. I've already started the new record already. Came out a couple months ago, and now the new record, which will be out probably in a year or two, it's already started in my head at least. Formulating ideas and thoughts and philosophies that you're going to talk about and what's going on in the world today. Once again, very important for me, always has been, to be socially relevant and to be diligent about what talks about and timely. So if I write a song by myself or with the band or outside of the band, I could write with somebody else, or sometimes, like God's Not Dead, the song God's Not Dead, Brandon, was written by a friend of mine named Daniel Bastia. I had nothing to do with that song. And it's a great, great, great tune. So that said, sometimes writing happens outside of our camp. And you find another whole group of people or person or two people. I'm just interested in what it's saying. All I care about is how it's going to impact our audience and how it's going to hopefully turn people's hearts to the Creator, to their Creator, to God, the Father. I'm not interested in, having the publishing. Oh man, the publishing's nice. I'm like, I like publishing checks. It's a good thing. But at the end of the day, you gotta have a record that reaches people, the populace, the masses, and that takes great songs and impactful songs.
I'm going to quote Jeff Frankenstein here, our bass player,
yeah.
And he says in an interview that he did here about, I rank records by how many songs we play in the set that people enjoy, and the cool thing is we're playing 8 new songs. That's a lot of songs. It's pretty exciting, and that's kind of what he's trying to say here. When you have a new album, sometimes you kind of ease into it, right? I mean, sometimes you're playing 4, sometimes you play 6. You kind of ease into it a little bit, but you guys are doing 8. This is an album that is really, really heavy. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's quite bold to step out and do 8 songs, because a lot of times when you do 8 songs, when you do any songs off a new record people know nothing about, you want to find the really interesting ones, the real upbeat ones, to where they'll catch on to the groove of it, more so than, the message right away, because that's what's going to happen. They don't know the song. But live, we actually know some of the ballads. We do the We Believe song, and people immediately respond to that. That's, in my years of doing this, that's not the norm. So it is what it says, basically, what we keep reiterating, that it's a powerful, depthful, and cutting record, if you will. By the way, Jeff is our bass player and keyboardist. You should note that, Brandon.
Gotta give him credit. You're right. I kind of cut him a little bit short on his resume. That's all right. You're right. I gotta be fair.
You're a good man. You're a good man.
Let me ask a little bit about the transition from you guys touring and now touring with Winter Jam and the fan response to that. I follow you guys on Twitter, and I love the fact that with Winter Jam, everybody pretty much stays and signs autographs, takes pictures, and that kind of thing. How is the audience growing? I mean, it's really got to be pretty cool to reach different folks that you may not normally get a chance to by going through the Winter Jam process.
How's that? Say again. You sound muffled.
Well, I just wanted to ask your opinion. What do you think? Because you're going to be reaching newer fans by the Winter Jam. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love about that, because 2 things. Number one, sometimes when you do concerts in churches, which I enjoy, but sometimes it's tough because Susie or Johnny may not come up to a church where they're not believers, because they'll think, they're going to preach at me. So going to an arena, which we do 57 on this tour, we got 52 left to do. So we have quite a few days left for Winter Jam. But it's important to believers who want their people, their friends, their unsaved friends they love, their loved ones, to come out and hear the message of love, which is the gospel, right? The message of love through music, because Jesus' words never go out, never come back void. Come out, bring them to an arena. That's not offensive, it's a nice, neutral place, and they get you great preaching, great singing, state-of-the-art production. So that said, yes, Newsboys reaches a different audience for sure out there, and it makes for a better sequel, if you will. We come up to the area, we say we play, Tampa, Florida, or Miami, or one night in Winter Jam, and we have 10,000 people come out. Then we come back the next year on the tour, the Newsboys tour, and we might pull out 2,000 or 3,000 people, 1,000 or 500 of which may not have come, and they've seen us in Winter Jam. So It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me go to the next thing I want to get to. I know we're going to run on the clock here a little bit, but God's Not Dead's coming up, and it's really kind of cool. And my family are just out of their minds excited about the film. They met some of the folks behind the scenes. We're trying to set up some interviews with the folks there, putting the film together. Tell me about your experience with that.
Man, I'm so excited about that movie. That movie, I mean, we had a little tiny piece in it, and it reminded me of the fact that I'm not an actor, so don't judge me too hard. We see me in the movie, Brandon. Y'all be good to me. Just lie to me. Say, Tait, you did great.
I'll be looking for that backstage pass to grease that wheel. Be like, all right, where's Mr. Brandon? He's gonna give me some actor kudos when this film comes out. No,
that is blackmail, pun intended. No, but the movie is powerful because the whole stance of it, of this professor trying to, disprove God's existence, and the student fighting back and saying, through diligence and through prayer and through just, just sharing the gospel, living a lifestyle, changing the mindsets of people around him in his college and in his university. And it ignites my faith. In the movie, we do the God I Did song. When that song comes on in the movie, every believer feels that energy. Even to the previews, right? They feel the energy of the power of that song saying, 'cause we know as believers, God's not dead. We know he's roaring like a lion in the heart of every believer alive. But you can't shove it down people's throats. There has to be an acceptance, a realization, a heart to receive it. So the movie, when it hits theaters in the spring, I think it's going to rock this nation. Atheists and believers alike. And when we do the premiere in Hollywood, you're talking about a massive premiere, man. So it's going to be, I'm sure we'll have picketers out there, people saying, this, that, and the other. But, hey, it's a controversy that made Jesus famous after all.
Yeah, you didn't shy away from that, that's for sure.
You sure didn't. We ain't doing it.
All right. Let me squeeze in one last thing here about DC Talk, because I know that you've got fans that are still following you from those days and that kind of thing, and it's got to be such a tremendous tribute to what you guys started years ahead of its time. How do you... just speak to the fact that the genre, if you will, for lack of a better term, of the movement of Christian music really exploding into so much diversity, which is exemplified by something like Winter Jam. But now it's just so big and so broad. It's got to be pretty exciting because you guys are really there, kind of on the ground floor with a lot of that.
It is beyond exciting. It's like when you say that to me, Brandon, I actually got chills just now when you said that, because we are kind of the baby fathers, if you will, because we're not that old. I'm only 40-something. I won't tell you what. You can Wikipedia it. But we were back in the beginning days, Kevin Mack, Tony Mack, and myself, Michael Tait. We never, ever thought, in those years ago, at Liberty University, Jerry Falwell's conservative college, that God would use us to be a part of what's now exploded, as you said. And the beauty is, in fact, found in the diversity of all the styles. I celebrate it all. But it makes me feel very proud because I get to be still enjoying it, still, right on the top, if you will. I mean, Newsboys is doing great things. God is still using us. And, who knew 20 years ago that I'd be doing, even Newsboys, fronting both of the biggest bands in our industry, respectively, I'm a proud uncle, daddy, big brother, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. And